to ensure that the license we are renewing meets the prescription in this act to pay salary is to ensure that their account is submitted. Their account is not submitted to see what they are doing. Even banks that have a minimum paid up share capital, when they apply for renewal of licenses to the BSL, they submit their account because these are the requirements of a body corporate. That is my humble submission. So for me, if we are saying we are going to give media practitioners the comfort of having salaries, how can we determine that their employers, they are strong enough or they have the capital requirements to be meeting their obligations? And how can we net off their liabilities, whether it is their payables or their receivables from banks or from whatever source? How can we net it off by just issuing a renewal license without accessing their accounts? That is my submission.
Yes.
I have a lot of respect for the last, but it seems as if it's confusing 25C, 25.3C. I want to refer this House to clause 21.1. Clause 21.1. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, it reads that the Commission shall keep proper books of account for their own institution. And this same Commission has the authority to issue and renew. But what 25.3C is saying is giving the Commission the power at any time they so desire. Provides the Commission in a manner and at such time as may be reasonably required, document, account, blah, blah, blah. What could be more reasonably required than the annual renewal? When you go for your renewal, these are the things that are expected. So how can you say this is creating an authority that is distinct from the power they have at the time of renewal? It's contradicting themselves. So let us take this out and give the Commission still the same authority they have. When you come to renew, you will have to show all of these things before they renew.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, as a regulator, let me just make it. Let me just make this one point, Mr. Chairman. Let me just make this one point. The point is,
Mr. Chairman, I'm up. Tawa, sit down. You are just from oversight. Sit down. You came late for that matter. Tawa, that of your accounting and auditing purpose, we are here making laws. I want to agree with the leader of the opposition. It's very clear. We've expressed our concerns about this. If you have to renew license, the power lies in your renewal. The power lies in your renewal. That's why I challenge the issue of having a concrete in the renewal license. That of NATCOM and that of IMC. You are coming to that point. I want to challenge it. There should be conformity. So you're asking, if you go back to 21, I think go back to 21. You can realize that they're asking for all of this and they're going to keep it. Coming back to 25C, 3C, asking them to be, I think so, it's just overburdening on them.
21?
You know, it's very clear.
21 plus 21, except I'm having a different note.
No, you are not having different.
Clause 21, the side note, let me read the side note. The side note on clause 21. No, let me just read the side note on 21. The side note on 21 is account and audit of the Commission.
That's what I'm saying.
Are we on the same point?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that 21, the Commission is being audited annually. That is what I said when I referred to 21. Don't confuse yourself. No,
I'm asking whether we're having the same document, sir.
We are, yes.
So
21 talks about the Commission.
The Commission.
Auditing the Commission annually. And this document is also, the media is expected to renew annually. That is what I'm saying. So if the Commission is enjoying an annual audit system, why not the businesses that these people are operating? They too should enjoy the same comfort so that at the end of the day, they will only be expected to look into their books when they go for renewal. That is the point I was making.
And that is under what?
Mr. Speaker, I move SO52. Thank you. Suspend.
I did warn you earlier. Any seconder?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
No, Chief, wait, please. Yes, leader.
Chairman, I'm saying that section 21 of the IMC bill that is before
I have
us
seen that.
gives the Auditor General the mandate to audit the Commission annually. And within this same bill, whether it is for new registration or eventually renewal, it is done annually. But 25C is giving the Commission a power separate and distinct from the powers to renew. That is going into their books as and when they feel. That is what I'm saying. We don't need that clause. Whenever they come for renewal, they will go into their books, they will have to submit those things that will justify their renewal. That is why, even when we had the meeting at Room 1 on Monday, they were open up to the fact that they will subject themselves to the regulations that will be brought forward.
I don't say 25C.
25.3C, it's there. 25.3C, that is
Okay.
the provides the Commission in a manner and at such times as may be reasonably required. Open-ended.
Yes.
Such documents, account, estimate, returns, or other information as the Commission may require for the purpose of performing its functions under this Act. You will get that annually. That is what the leader was saying, that we don't need this. It should be expunged.
Mr. Chairman,
My friend, the speaker is listening to me.
Mr. Chairman, can I
No,
say?
hold on. But under
He doesn't want to hold on. That is his problem.
25.3, it only deals with the granting of a license for the first time, not the renewal.
That is why we are saying 25.3C is superfluous. It is superfluous. Because if you're talking about if I may read again with your permission, I will not go all over at such times as may be reasonably required. It's superfluous.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Tawakonte has supported the motion for it to be expunged. He is withdrawing.
Good.
Yes, he's withdrawing.
So then 3C goes.
Yes. Thank you. You continue being a very good environmental activist.
Mr. Chairman.
Just evasion, I want us to be on the same page. Is it? We are talking about application. You mentioned about renewal. You said there's no renewal. So what do we do in that case? Is it application the first time? Because if you do it for the first time or renewal? It's just, there's a problem there. Because we are saying in our argument, I don't want to go into a little bit, just wait. We are just saying, is it the first time or continue when you want to renew? So can we have something, leader of the opposition, can I have something good so that I thought 27 is where we dealt with renewal.
If you had a point of renewal, we can add something.
But,
It is on 27 that we can add something because 27 that deals with renewal.
It's 27.
Clause 27.
Okay.
That is on page 23.
All right. Okay. So we agree that 3C should go for 25. Expound that one. Fine. Okay. Continue.
Mr. Chairman.
Who?
Me.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, a good law is one that is not ambiguous, amongst many other things. And the case has been stated severally that the purport of repealing Part 5 is to give the media a free hand. In that light, I have a problem with Part 5, 3D. With your leave, 25, page 21. 3D. Part 6, 3D. And with your leave, I read, operates the media institution in accordance with short standards of performance as the Commission considers appropriate. I consider the word short standards of performance as ambiguous. The reason is this is open to misuse. What are the standards that we are talking about? Are they standards in the code of practice? If these are in the code of practice, why not reference the code of practice in this area?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we concede as expressly stated in the code of.
Hold on. So can we hear from the minister?
Thank you very much, Chairman. You know, I understand the spirit. We all seem to be very aligned on that. But you would have left out the possibility of best practice as well. This is an evolving career, right? So don't just restrict it to the code of practice. There's also the possibility of repatriating best practice here. So that needs to be looked into.
My problem is its vulnerability to misuse. Because it is not clear. The goalpost can be shifted in the middle of the game with this one. So, I mean, what is good for media house A might be different from all right. So maybe it is for Sludge to consider, including best practice in the code of practice.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, please.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yes. The same 25A. I'm looking at G, which state that do or not to do specified things unless written approval is given by the Commission.
Where?
25, page 21. Subsection 3, G.
G.
Yes, it said do or not to do specified things unless written approval is given by the Commission. For me, basically, this one basically raises the question, what are the specified things to do or not to do? This one, for me, basically, I think it should be expunged. Yes. The reason being that, you said things that are to be done are not to be done. So we have to be specific. It should be specified. If we cannot specify, then okay. But it is here, so I think not really specified. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, if I can come in to buttress what my honorable colleague have just said. I think I agree with him that we must specify, but for him to suggest that we expunge it will not be too correct. Since the chairman is here of the committee, chairman, you could help us in bringing in a wording instead of we expunging it. Come in with a wording that we can put into it so that we'll go out through this, sir, please. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, there's nothing ambiguous here. We should not waste time on this. There are going to be issues to be specified, be it in regulations or other codes. Those are the things that have been referred to here. So this is an appropriate clause in the subsection.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me. Can you clarify for me the difference between 25(3)A and F, with particular reference to duration of the license? In A, you say, the Commission may, in granting a license under subsection 1, specify in the license such conditions, including conditions requiring the holder of a license to pay to the Commission for the duration of the license such fees as may be determined by the Commission. And then in F, you go on to say, acknowledge that the license shall be valid for a period of 1 year.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I see specificity in one, discretion in another.
Mr. Chairman, we don't want, let him wait. Let me just help you with another clause. This was what I raised in the debate, and even in the committee when I was here, I raised this point. One, if you go back to 25B, just to buttress the point of Mr. Speaker, 25B, make a recommendation to National Telecommunications Commission for the issue of a spectrum license and appropriate broadcasting frequency to the applicant. Now comes to what you have said, A and F. Mr. Chairman, the IMC Act is 2000, was enacted 2000, and that of the NATCOM in 2006. But let me just again read from the NATCOM Act, the telecommunications. This created a conflict between IMC and NATCOM. We need to rectify this one today. Let me read, Mr. Speaker. Page 22 of the Telecommunications Act reads 31(2), Section 31, subsection 2. A license which is not utilized within 2 years from the date of its grant may be cancelled by the Commission after notice of not less than 30 days has been served on the operator. So the conflict they are having, they will go for registration. We need a minister to come in this one heavily. They will come, you have been giving. You say, no, I have 2 years. So for every year, you need to come to IMC for renewal. But for the spectrum area, it's 2 years. So they have the business of giving out the transmitting in the airwaves, giving out communications. But the license itself is given by IMC. So if you get in 1 year, you come again. They will not come to IMC. But so far, they understand it's 2 years. So IMC will be chasing them, and they don't have the technology to stop them not to broadcast. There's a difficulty there. So they should be in line with NATCOM. If you are going to get license, for you to go to NATCOM, first you get a clearance from IMC. So it should be in conformity with what is happening at IMC, not 2 years. So you come again, because if your license is 1 year with that of IMC, if you don't pay, definitely NATCOM will take you off the air. But if NATCOM has 2 years, and your license expires at IMC for 1 year, they will not have the power to take you off air. But NATCOM do have the power. So they will not take you off the air. You will still be broadcasting. So IMC will find it very difficult to get you to come and renew your license because they are not giving you spectrum. So we need a minister to really explain to us why the variation.
Chairman, honorable members, this is a very interesting subject that the leader of government business has raised. We have a situation where we recognize in the industry that spectrum, frequency related things are pretty expensive, right? They are national resources that are not infinite. So, and when you require a spectrum, it's normally required for capital intensive investment. So more often than not, you want to give people, some people for acquiring the spectrum, that is when they go get the real budget, the real financial muscles to do the investment. So it makes a lot of business sense to give them some time to go rally resources to do the investment. So that is why you have 2 years in the NATCOM Act. But because this was predominantly influenced by the mindset of the media practice, for the most part, print media practice, that is why they put the 1 year in. But it makes good business sense to reconcile the two periods, the discordant periods. Make it 2 years for both licenses regimes. But the good news is we will soon be coming before Parliament for this. The NATCOM Act is being reviewed. Stakeholder consultations have happened. It's now the law officers department. Once we get that done, we'll be here in Parliament. And next week again, I'm here. So probably the Speaker might like to consider making me honorary member of Parliament, because I'm going to be a very permanent feature of Parliament in the next coming days and weeks.
There is a price for that now.
Okay, so that's a subject of discussion. Thank you, sir.
But
So
what do we
let's
do
come now to
the duration?
This particular
Yes,
one.
so when we have the 2 years and the 1, how do we come to compromise?
In one area,
we'll
we see some discretionary power.
Yes.
And in another area, we see specific.
We could, for the purposes of reconciling and for ease of administration, just reconcile it to make it 2 years. 2 years for licenses regimes, whether at NATCOM or at IMC. So that is easy to manage, it's easy for compliance, it's easy for administrative convenience.
No, just a minute. There is still a lacuna there. There is a gap.
Well, that's your responsibility as
You
lawmakers
see,
to help us
you are
resolve
saying-
the lacuna.
Mr. Chairman, this is very key. We have 1 year, and if you fail to operate the license for 2 years, they will cancel from the act we have.
Yeah.
So assume that I did not fail. I'm still broadcasting. How can I go for a renewal of my license at IMC? Because TRANSCOM has the technology to take you off here if you don't operate the license.
Well, that's what we are saying. That's a good opportunity to harmonize the two legislations. Right?
So even in 2 years, you operate, but you still need to renew after 2 years.
Yes, if you don't renew, we can take you off air.
So both sides should be 2 years here and 2 years there.
That's the same. That's the point I have made.
Okay.
So that's a way of harmonizing the two legislations. So there are no discordant issues, no gray areas.
So what are you suggesting we do now with
Well,
this one?
This is an opportunity we have to extend it to 2 years, right? Whether it affects the cost of the licenses or what, it's not within my competence to say. But for administrative convenience and for harmony within legislation, this is the right and proper thing to do at this material.
Mr. Chairman, may my thoughts be heard on this issue?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we have to be mindful of the fact that we have approved certain clauses that has to do with audit and renewal. Mm-hmm. And those renewals are pegged on performance and standards, particularly by these media institutions. Mm-hmm. So if you peg it to 1 year, it is good for the public. We are taking away the public interest clause. It will be good for the public, for example, if my media institution is not keeping to standard, to come for renewal within 1 year and for the commission to be able to determine as to whether my performance did meet the threshold as laid down and consider my new renewal or not renew my license. But if you make it for 2 years, then that person's action will continue for a longer period of time. And he will continue affecting or impacting society for a period of 1 year. He will not be audited. So a 2 year period will be a much more period to audit an institution, whereas compared to a 1 year period. Audits are normally done on a yearly basis. I understand, I take their point, Mr. Chairman, but when we even look at the age of the two acts, I am of the view that the IMC Act might have come into operation before the NATCOM Act. So it was the NATCOM Act that met an act that has pegged its audit to 1 year. In all of this, we have to look at the safeguard of the public, particularly with this license. If you prolong it too much, how are you going to withdraw it just like that? Withdrawal, you have a simple way. I have come to renew my license in 1 year. We look at your performance, we say, in this 1 year, you breached the code of conduct 3 times. We cannot renew. And you yourself, you look at the act that we are now amending, and you know that the breaching of the code of conduct was a condition precedent for the continuation of your license. That is just my own thought.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
Yeah. Whilst we're still on this,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
let me draw attention to 25(2)(d), public interest.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Does that paragraph go?
I am of the view on this particular paragraph, I stand to pick the brains of other honorable members of colleague.
Mr. Minister.
That the way this paragraph is couched is a little different from the way the others were couched, and that we should think of leaving this one. That is my own thought.
On that note, whilst you're pondering over it, I will stand down for 5 minutes.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, fine, how you do? Let me speak, sir. Your office dinner.
Okay, yes.
Sorry, I can't if you open.
No, it's all right. Hey, Honorable Alice Kumar.
Asma.
Oh, hi, man. Hi, man.
Okay.
Come well. Come and join.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait.